Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I've fallen a couple of episodes behind, I believe, but I'm working on some podcasts, so I'm kind of excited about that. I've got one that starts next week with my friend Tom Sturgeon, a fellow graduate of Jefferson High. We're not sure what we're going to call it yet. I wanted to call it the Barking Cats because that's very silly, and we're kind of like that, I think. We're kind of mellow guys, but then we bitch a lot. So I think that maybe that'd be a good name for it. And then I've got another one that I just started called Top Cookies with my friend Mike Davis. And we're going to do it. It's going to be a weekly, and we're going to just cover the events in hockey every week and try to make it funny and fun. And I know most of you guys probably don't care, but if you'd like to check them out, please check them out. Love to get you on board. So you can listen to more of me because it's all about me. What I want to talk about today was don't be gross, okay? I think I bitched a couple months ago about people just throwing their litter out onto West 26th Avenue, where I live, and sometimes I go pick it up, and sometimes I don't bother. I mean, to be honest, most of it's going to go into the curb and get swept up by a street sweeper. I'm not I'm anti-litter, obviously, but I also am realistic when it comes to litter. I don't know how much it's really hurting the environment here in the middle of the country to throw your shit out the window, honestly, unless it's getting ridiculous. But it's just gross. So what I'm saying is don't be gross. Um, it's really disconcerting sometimes because it does actually matter. I don't know why I said it didn't matter for a second. It does matter because it blows into places that aren't good. Like there's this little, it's a tiny little wetland right by the Safeway where I used to live in Aurora, and so much litter has accumulated. It just covers all the water. And there are things that live in there. There are ducks that try to live in there. Red-winged blackbirds like to live amongst the cattails. And it's a small ecosystem, but it's still an ecosystem. We should give a shit about it. Nothing drives me crazier than just watching a guy just dump, or just seeing evidence that somebody has dumped their trash, especially fast food trash, just out of their car. It's like, you can get to a trash can. If you have a car, you most likely have a home. 99% of people that have cars have homes. Not too many people are living out of their cars, literally. So, get home, put it in the trash, you pig. I saw a couple kids at Overland, too. Overland's pretty bad. Kids just drop their trash all the time. I rarely say anything because I don't think it's going to bear any fruit. They're high school kids with attitudes. And so, excuse me. I'm just littering the airwaves right now. But so these kids, they're really like, I don't even know what they were. Airheads, Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, Gator Snot Chewables. I don't know. They were disgusting, whatever they are. If they're not chocolate, I don't understand the point. Okay, anyway. So they're like these light blue things. And this kid's they're probably, I don't know, as big as maybe a Now and Later, like as big as a quarter and thick. And this kid's taking them, throwing the wrapper on the ground, chewing him for like 5 seconds, just spitting it. Not even the decency to spit in the grass when they go, just right on the sidewalk where everyone's walking. And I mumbled something, and I started saying like, "Oh, nice." He didn't. He either had his headphones on or he did not, acknowledge me. But I was just like, "What? I don't understand what's wrong with people. That's gross." I was always taught from a very young age not to do it by my parents. Just like don't be a pig, wait for a trash can. They're everywhere almost, and there you go. I think part of it too is it being a child in the 70s. The 70s was a horrifically polluted decade. I mean, many of us know about, many of us don't though. You learn about this more when you live in a certain place. You learn about some of the horrific histories of the place. And I've mentioned before that I lived in Cleveland in the late 90s. Now, Cleveland had cleaned up their act by the time I was there. It's actually a pretty vibrant city in the late 90s. The Cleveland Indians baseball team, now the Guardians, was doing very well. They went to 2 World Series. Unfortunately, they lost both of them in 95 and 97. But they were playing really well. The downtown area was very vibrant. It was a lot like lower downtown here in Denver, and all these old warehouses and stuff. It's called the Flats down there. It's where the Cuyahoga River empties into Lake Erie, and it's a very vibrant town. I mean, it's amazing too because ships, like huge cargo ships, like oil ships too. Well, it's very industrial all the way up the Cuyahoga. It's part of what they call the Rust Belt, right? So Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Detroit. All the major cities around the lakes. I think Buffalo is considered part of the Rust Belt, very industrial cities back in the late 1800s, and all the way probably through 2000, to be honest, were called the Rust Belt because they had foundries that made steel. Obviously, Pittsburgh's famous for their steel. The Steelers, for God's sake. Cleveland had a lot of foundries. I came to find out. I had friends, or not really friends, but coworkers whose fathers worked for GM and Ford, and the metal was cast for all the metal necessities for all those automobiles. So those were very vibrant cities, but they also polluted the hell out of those local environments. But get back to Cleveland specifically, in the 70s, the Cuyahoga River, which is the river that feeds into Lake Erie, I probably said that a minute ago, would spontaneously combust. Just fire floating on this river. Now, and luckily in the 80s and 90s they got it cleaned up, and like I said, by the 90s it was actually really vibrant and cool down there. One time Dylan and I were eating at a seafood place called Landry's. I think it's a chain. I think there's one here in Denver too. And it's a very curvy river. If you ever get to check it out, just check a map of the Cuyahoga. It's a winding river. And this guy had like an oil tanker, and it was coming right at us. Right, we're just sitting on Landry's, just looking out the window, looking at the scenery, looking at the lake and the river and across the river. And this thing's coming right toward us, and we can see the captain. He's like several stories up because those things are humongous. And then he just does this turn away from. He's navigating this massive ship down this really winding, kind of treacherous river. It was really cool to watch. I'm just glad he didn't run into Landry's while we were eating our seafood. So. Also, another thing about pollution, and being a kid of the 70s, most people my age remember the famous Indian crying, right? Keep America clean, put litter in its place, I believe was the campaign. We had Woodsy Owl. Woodsy Owl was give a hoot, don't pollute. So we had stuff that really I think should have been put in place 50 years ago, if not even further back. So it's disappointing when I see it today. Another disappointing thing, I don't know how many of you know this. This is one of my favorite facts about having a Sicilian last name and being a quarter Sicilian, is sorry, it always makes me laugh. I think it's a little known fact. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more known than I want to acknowledge, and I'm working on a bit about it. But the guy who played the Indian, the Native American, that cries on those ads for Keep America Beautiful ads back in the 70s, ended up Sicilian. He was a Sicilian dude and had like a 50-year acting career. That wasn't his only gig. He was often a Native American in westerns and other types of and all kind, well, probably mostly westerns to be honest, but he made his living as an actor. And I think he told people he was Native American. I can't remember if he lied about it or if he just said, yeah, I'm Sicilian, but look at me. I don't know, but either way, it was it's kind of a rough, it's one of my Sicilian little, one of my cousins not doing the right thing in that case, so it's a little embarrassing. So yeah, what else about litter? Just pollution in general. My mom, she always has taught me to think thoroughly, or think outside the box at least, and she has a really good point. Okay, fine. People don't believe in global warming. Maybe, by the way, the science is overwhelmingly there. It's overwhelmingly there that not only is it happening, it's man-made. It makes sense that it's man-made. And so, but when people go, well, the planet's not heating up, well, how about pollution? Can you dispute pollution? Can you dispute the fact that all of our oil-driven stuff creates pollution that goes into the air and is also not good for us? I mean, we don't have to be burnt to a crisp to die horrifically, right? We can breathe in air and drink dirty water, or breathe in dirty air, drink dirty water, do things that we've essentially poisoned ourselves. So yeah, that's just my little thing on pollution. I don't know what triggered it today. I think it was because I was cleaning my pantry. Ooh, it's a very exciting Sunday here in Denver. When the Broncos are getting their asses handed to them by the Pittsburgh Steelers, you find something to do like clean your pantry. So I was going through and I found some stuff that we don't eat anymore and threw it in the trash. And I always hate when I throw away food. Nothing good. It's some expired mint jelly my father gave me for some reason. Some knockoff Takis that Logan wouldn't eat. One was called like Cubo or something like that, and the other was called Llamas. I'm not going to eat that shit. Dante's not going to eat it, and Logan couldn't either, so that all went in the trash. Outside that, we threw away very little food, so I was happy with that. But I guess my main point is try not to be wasteful, but try especially just not to be a pig. I know I'm preaching to the choir. The type of people that listen to this aren't people that would throw litter out their window or spit out gum right on the sidewalk and then throw trash out. So you guys are great. Stay great and lecture a person if he's a booger. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Have a great day, guys. See you soon. Bye.